Good morning, United Kingdom. Good morning, and welcome to another session of the live drive time with Lakhi Singh, the property and business fixer. And we have the pleasure of having Lakhi in. He's been away a few weeks because he's had problems with his helicopter, but he is now back. So we will have to got it in. Have we got it in? Yes, he's here. Right, Lakhi Singh, can we can you tell us the saying of the weekend, please?
Saying of the weekend is live today as if you're going to die tomorrow.
Excellent. A bit more morbid. Probably better to say live today as if there will be no tomorrow. It's probably better to say it that way. But yes, I think the point makes sense that you should live every day, one day at a time, with blessings. That's really what you should be saying. So, right. So you live every day, a day at a time. And the saying for the week, was it the saying of, or the topic of this week was all about the Rescue Associate Program and the how to set up your own business and start becoming a rescue associate. So it's all about that as well. So Lakhi Singh, without further ado, what do you say about living one day at a time, living today as if there's no tomorrow? Does that make sense to you? Can you live today as if you started living today as if there were no tomorrow, I don't think you'd be doing too much work. You'd probably be in the temple or the Gurdwara, wouldn't you? Praying that the Almighty, grants you. Is it karma? Do you come back as is it an elephant or a monkey or something? What do you believe in your praying to the divine? What are you praying for? Are you praying for heaven, or are you praying for karma, good karma? You come back as a what's the best you can be if you're coming back again?
It's a good question. I haven't really thought about it like that. I suppose the best you can come back with is just to be in a good place, I suppose. Maybe good family, good environment, healthy environment. Maybe maybe being a Buddhist monk or something sounds like good. You can just sit there and pray all day. Sounds like the type of life that would be very blissful.
So what you're saying is, if you were on the planet today and you were being told to live today as if there were no tomorrow, you'd be asking the Almighty to come back as a Buddhist monk. Why are you not Buddhist now?
Well, meaning that just living in, doesn't really matter which religion it is, but it's basically living within a faith.
So you don't have any faith at the moment? I think you're all okay. You're there. You're back again. Yes. So yeah, when you say living with faith,
because you could end up coming back, as if I was talking about, if you're going to die and come back again, you could.
Well, that's a concept, I think, within the Hindu religion, that you come back as something, or if you've got good karma.
So I'm just referring to that. I mean, whether it's the Sikh religion or Buddhist or whichever religion it is, I'm saying coming back in an environment which is godly is probably one of the nicest things that can happen, because we're talking to a multicultural audience here, and I'm not just referring to just the Sikh religion. I think any religion, any faith that has a connection to God is a positive thing. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, but what I was actually asking in this very same way, because I know you're from the Sikh faith, so it's like giving a bit of information out to the audience about what the Sikh faith says about coming back or living today as if there's no tomorrow. To me, well, let me start from what it says to me. It says to me that you start taking in its true essence the blessing of life, of everything that Allah has given for Muslims, as we are quite clear in understanding our faith. So in the like fashion, every faith has a belief of something which is higher than them, above them. So my question was to you that, yes, if you're going to answer that question, what is it that you are going to be doing if today is your last day on the planet? My way of looking at it would be, if I knew that today was the last day on the planet, I don't think I'd actually be spending too much time in the worldly things. I'd probably spend more time in the in the spiritual things like charity. I had a lovely chat with someone this morning. Big shout out to AQ, Mrs. Is a senior faculty member, and she was talking about giving money to all of her sort of like her office waiters and peons and stuff. And she said she gave a very small, I mean, in terms of the value, it's a very small amount of money to one of her female staff members, but it made a big difference to that woman's house. Apparently she went back and they were having a domestic of some kind, but because she went back with a bit of money, it changed the environment. Now, you could say, well, money isn't really the solution to lots of problems, but it does oil the wheels, the practical wheels of life. So, although the question is somewhat self-answering, isn't it? If I said to you, Lakhi, if I'm asking you, how are you going to live like there's no tomorrow? It's relative to what you think is important, isn't it, really? So how would you live today as if there's no tomorrow? What would you be doing? Lakhi, you there? Not there?
So there would be connectedness with God, and it would be spending time with your loved ones. I think those two things, really.
So with all the hustle and the bustle of the square mile, the big city, Mayfair, all the attractive lights and things and stuff, what would they mean to you then? Would they mean anything to you?
Well, they're meaningless, really, aren't they? So they don't mean anything. It's just a place where you can do business. Has no relevance, really. If you're going to die tomorrow, then none of that.
What we're saying is like a motor. I think if we look at it, I think if we look at it positively, it's like a motivational type of question. That, if you live every day as this is your last day, you haven't got time to be negative. You haven't got time to be looking back. You basically will start living in the moment. Isn't that the way you probably treat, today, if this was your perception of every day, that it's your last day, you don't know what's going to happen to you? Would you not like be treating every moment, every act like worship, and you try to live in the moment and be good in everything you're doing? Isn't that what would happen?
I think it's going to depend on the individual. I think everybody's going to have their own take of what they want to do. I think I'll be spending time with my family, just knowing tomorrow is the last day, and then being grateful for all the things that you've had and just having that connection with them, I think.
Okay, so we're going to move on then. We have a business model called the RAC, which is part of the Rescue My Properties website, and it basically says make money and help people. Quite unique. It's like oil and water, isn't it? Business and helping normally doesn't sort of make sense. They don't go in hand. But to ask the question before we move on, we've got the ever knowledgeable and much appreciated Mr. Rajesh Malhotra waiting in the backstage. Can we have Mr. Rajesh on, please? Rajesh Malhotra. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Lakhi Singh. Yes,
Good
we
morning.
can hear you.
Good morning,
Yes, we can hear you. How
Vijay.
you doing, Rajesh?
I'm
Long time.
okay. Yeah.
Speaking and see.
Yeah, you can see me in my tracksuit. I'd a little bit miscommunication. I thought we were on a little later, but that's fine. I can always go for a walk afterwards. But great to see you again, Vijay, and Lakhi, when I think he's off mic at a moment. Yeah, so I think today's topic is starting your own business with the opportunity of the Rescue My Properties Associate model, which I totally agree with. Me and Lakhi had a chat last week about starting your own business, but a lot of people at home at the moment, still we're not sure. Although the lockdown restrictions are easing, there may possibly be a third wave. So the Rescue My Properties
Associate. So you're saying there may be a third wave. Where is that expected from?
Well, I'm not sure because they're saying that the Indian variant that started off in the north from Bolton has come down now into London and it's spreading, and the R rate is going up.
I like the way you said that. The Indian variant is coming down from the north in Bolton. So that's good.
Well, I don't think that we should be, being Indian myself, be named the Indian variant, but that's what the media have named it, coined the phrase, the Indian variant. But
that's just as bad as saying Kung Flu, isn't it?
Yeah. I take a little bit of a, and I'm sure other people in the Asian community take a bit of an offense to that. But what can you do?
Yeah, and remember, there was an issue where once the virus was first heard of, and obviously still, I mean, the funny thing is that the jury's still out as to where the virus came from. I mean, if it was all so sure, the science was so accurate, they're still now trying to investigate where the actual virus stemmed from, and there's about 3 different sources. And for some reason, Mr. Biden, President of America, doesn't want an inquiry. Reasons, obviously, that the inquiry may come up with something totally different, and he doesn't want to be the one covering up the information as it comes out. So it could become quite damning for him. So, I mean, there's no fact. You see, I mean, the way I'm looking at this issue is it came out of China. Did it?
But that's originally where it came from.
Did it?
Well, they say that's where it originally, but I mean, I don't know nowadays who's, as a quote from the ex-president, fake media. We don't know what is true and what isn't because things keep changing. you know.
That's it. But the fact is now, after 2 years, they're still trying to do an inquiry to find out actually why was it being presented as true fact then?
Yes,
Remember,
absolutely.
in order to get everyone to comply and everyone say, oh, yes, yeah, you know, it was being packaged as a fact. There wasn't any doubt at that time. No one was saying it didn't come from there, or we don't know actually where it's come from. What was being packaged is, oh, it's come from Wu-Tang, or Wu-Tong, or whatever it is.
Wu-Tang Clan, or Wuhan.
Yeah,
I call it the Wuhan.
Clan.
I call it the Wuhan Clan.
Yeah, the Wu-Tang Clan. So it came from the Wu-Tang Clan. So, I mean, the bottom line is they made it into a fact. And now it's become unknown, it's unsure. It's a bit of a contradiction.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the bottom line is that there was a virus. There's no doubt about it. I think nobody that I've spoken to has a doubt that there was and is a virus that attacks your immune system, whether it's respiratory, whether it's a bloodborne virus, whether it's a mutation, it develops according to each individual, whether it only attacks people who've got an existing immune condition. I don't know, because the information out there is very limited. But what is sure is that everything is now coming out of lockdown. It's all wind down now. And in the wind down, it's like they've got another reason to extend it.
Absolutely.
That issue, the fact that there's been a mutation in the subcontinent, is now the reason they could have a third wave. Right? Okay, that's whatever. So let's go back to the topic then. So if this is the way it is, I mean, lots of people have been locked down. Lots of people have had, psychological issues. They've got, different disorders that have popped up. People have become obese, put on weight, been eating disorders and all that. So it's actually, it's very strange that your life is so fickle. It's been created. It's very creative around you. You said it's a small bubble that you create around you, and as soon as an authority that has control over your life transmits that control, the whole of your existence is now subjective to bylaws and regulations that have been thrown at you without proper discourse. It's quite frightening that within a month and a half, the entire world was in lockdown. 1.5 months, 6 weeks it took. The whole world was, except for those people who were so poor, they didn't have a television and they never had a house that they could be locked down in. Everyone else was locked down.
Yeah. It's almost like one of these disaster movies, Armageddon or something like that. It's just.
That's why you've been tuned to accepting it, because it's been shown to you in movies. Do you understand? When you have you been to America ever?
I went to New York once a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah,
when
it was.
Excuse me, let me pick this up.
Just give me one moment. I've just got to quickly.
Right, I'm back again. Sorry about that. Had a call come through. Yeah. So the question is, And Lakhi Singh obviously is making moves. You can see him walking, I think, to the office. Lakhi Singh, tell us, with what's happened, doesn't it make you think more vividly how living each day at a time is so important? To be happy with what God has given you is so important now, because you just don't know.
Yeah, I think it's maybe a blessing of some sorts, because it's made people think and realize that they're running in the rat race or into working in a system, and stepping back, taking a year out, whether it's lockdown or otherwise. It's also time for self-reflection. But the problem with that is that not most people have looked at it from a point of view of it being a problem rather than a solution to their lives. Because had everybody just looked at it from a point of view, well, got time to reflect, to maybe connect with God, spend time with the family. So I think a lot of it just comes down to perspective and perception.
But doesn't it show you that in the developed world, because I know people who are in the undeveloped world, and they've been continuing their lives just as they were before, except for a few serious periods where they've said, look, we've had to sort of restrict our movements and we've not been able to go out that much anymore. We've had to sort of like arrange our functions and get-togethers in our personal home space. Doesn't it show you that the concept of the developed world is somewhat undemocratic? It's not really in your control. How much information was given to people for them to decide whether they should take the vaccine? We don't know. They're still trying to debate where it came from. So isn't this a wonderful time to reflect on what you do have control of? What you do have in control of is yourself, your soul, is your thinking, is your ability to take decisions that are yours. Isn't that what you have control on, Lakhi? If they, for example, there was an order tomorrow, or the government set out a law, it is illegal to wear black sunglasses and walk on the streets of London, what would you be doing now?
If there's an order to do what? To wear dark sunglasses.
Yeah, so it's forbidden to wear dark
doing it anyway,
sunglasses and walk to work. Pardon?
Well, I suppose a lot of people don't like to be told what to do, because it doesn't really, not everybody's got dark sunglasses. And if it's a raining, wintry day, it's probably not going to really help you in your driving. Is more likely to cause an accident. So sometimes one thing for one person might be right, but for other people it may not be right. So
isn't this where how do you carve out happiness then, Rajesh? You've got a situation, you're not in control of it because you're given too much control away. And this is, I think someone said this once, that being too compliant, being too submissive itself is an illness, that you just take for granted what people are, or the government's telling you, oh, you can't be seen together in sixes, right? You can't be seen together in sixes. Why? Well, because you've already said it's 6, whether it's 10, 6 foot distance and a mask is sufficient. So why is it that you can't be together in a house together, 6 people or more, as long as you're following that rule then? So for me, the way I'm looking at it, it shows that there's no real autonomy to a person. So how do you then decide to live today as if there isn't a tomorrow? What do you pull out of what you've got there? You're in a society, you're in an organization, you're in an environment that's very controlled. It's very monitored now, because everywhere you go, there's a television screen, there's a camera. How do you live? What do you take out of that, which is yours, and it's not subject to somebody else's discretion? How do you do that, Rajesh?
Well, the thing is, morning, Lucky. I do feel that slowly, and I don't want to get political about this, but our liberties have been sort of taken away from us. But you still can, even if you're in a controlled and restricted environment, you can still choose how you respond to it, not react, but respond to it. It is difficult, and it's getting increasingly difficult, because we're getting mixed messages from the government. Whether, especially with this bubble, you can meet 6 people. Is it outside? See, I'm not even sure what the latest restrictions are or regulations, because they keep changing it. If the government had a proper consensus to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. I know that they've got a lot of pressure from businesses as well, because on the 21st of June, or they're going to look to open more of the restrictions, but then obviously the variant is mutating. But you can still decide how you want to work. Many people working from home at the moment, which is another reason why this Rescue My Properties opportunity is ideal. But whether you're working from home, or you're going to the office, or you're going to your workplace, you have to. What I find is when I feel like I've got a lot of challenges, and I'm thinking, oh well, this is just not worth it, I say to myself, I'm responsible, because you don't always have control to the circumstances that you're presented in life, but you do have an option of how you deal with those. There's a I don't know if it's a quote, but when I was recovering in a hospital, when I became diabetic, one of the guys said to me is, look, you have to deal with the cards that life deals. I think it's you deal with the cards that life has dealt to you. You don't always have a choice of what's. Everyone goes through challenges, setbacks. Everyone has problems, but it's how you respond to them. So it took me a bit of time, but I would say I am responsible. I am responsible, and even in this very restrictive, controlled environment, and I know a lot of people are going through health challenges, like you said. This is one of the reasons I'm in my tracksuit, because I look at my health as a priority, and I know Lucky does, and I know you do as well, and other people watching this. But it's not only just about your physical health; it's about your mental health as well. One of the things that I found helpful is if I'm feeling a certain way, I get a pen and a pad and I write it down, and I say, well, why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling demotivated? And it happens. We're not perfect. Nobody is.
There's a good tip for you, Lucky. Do you ever feel taking out your pads and writing on them?
Yeah, all the time. I like to write on my pad.
Yeah, he likes to write on his pad, but everyone, you can have a little notebook and carry it around with you with a pen and pad.
You can write on a notebook, Lucky. What about you writing on your notebook?
No, I prefer to write on my pad. Sounds like more fun.
You prefer to write in your what?
You said pants. You said pads.
Pads.
I didn't say pants. I said pads. What would you want to write in your pants for? Pardon?
Say your pad.
I haven't got any pads to write, and I don't write notebooks.
You want to write on your pad?
On notebooks, Lucky. You don't write on pads. I don't have any notepads. The phone pad. Nah, I don't do that. Okay, so Lucky, Because Rajesh is coming to that point. I want to know how, because Rajesh is like a good mix of understanding what the 9-to-5er thinks and what a businessman thinks. Because I think you've done both things. Is that right, Rajesh?
That's right. Yeah, I'm literally now just created my Facebook page as well. So it's a work in progress, but yeah, I'm running a business and looking for clients. But I've done 9-to-5.
So
I've done
tell
7-to-7.
Okay, so tell me, what do you think the average 9-to-5 is going to be doing? Are they going to be waiting for the furloughs to finish and then start running around like headless chickens looking for something to do? Are they going to be dreaming that they're going to get their job back and then be told, look, we've downsized, we've only got 10 employees left. We used to have 200, but we now are running the business with 10. We've streamlined and we've taken everything onto the cloud, or we're technology based now, or whatever. What do you think people are going to be doing? Do you think they're going to wait like sheep or like sort of like chickens, waiting to be told it's your time? We've got to say goodbye to you. You've got to go and claim your income, job support allowance, or whatever it is, because we don't have a job. Well, what do you think people will be doing? Are people proactive? Those people are used to being in a 9-to-5.
Well, in answer to your question, I think people should be proactive now. I don't think they should wait until the furlough scheme, because as much as the Chancellor of Exchequer, Rishi Sunak, is looking to end or maybe end the furlough scheme, a lot of companies will say, especially with the uncertainty around the lockdown restrictions, a lot of companies will get rid of staff. I mean, it's a plain fact. It happened last time when the furlough ended. It will happen this time. So if I was people out there right now, and I know it's a very competitive job market out there, but I would get proactive now. I wouldn't wait. Don't wait. Life doesn't wait for anyone. Time doesn't wait for anyone. If you're looking for an opportunity right now, if you're not working or you're currently at home, then the Rescue My Properties is one of the most flexible opportunities that are out there. Or if you're looking for something, start applying now. Don't wait until the furlough ends, please.
Excellent. Proactive attitude. Lakhi Singh, what do you say? Are most people going to be waiting to the last minute? Do you think they should take Rajesh, his valuable advice that he should be looking for, and they should be thinking outside the box, and nothing else? They should be taking, advantage of the RAC opportunity, which is really all you need to do is have a laptop, a bit of understanding of social media, and a mobile phone, literally, and you can be in business. What do you say, sir?
Yeah, I think definitely agree with Raj. It's a simple one. If you're at home and you've got time on your hands, you're not doing anything anyway, then time doesn't wait for anyone. I think the time to take action is now, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time and tide wait for no man. Is that the right saying? Is it?
Yeah. Strike while the iron is.
Okay. Strike while
the iron is hot, and make hay while the sun shines. And makes hay while the sun shines. Yeah, these are all.
Hay, well, okay. But what about those people who are not used to working in the sunshine, or they actually wait for the tide to come in and out, and they're waiting for a ship to come along, or the new job ship?
Then you're basically not taking control. What you're doing is you're letting outside circumstance take control of you, because what's happened is, even if they decide that maybe this particular opportunity is right for them right now, it may be in the future. They need to look at other opportunities. I'm telling you, I'm talking from painful, hard-won experience, that you know, if you're not proactive now, you know, and you wait 6 months' time, you will regret it. And you do not want to live a life of regrets. And whether you're looking for a new career or you want to write a book, do a podcast, join the Rescue My Properties opportunity. I mean, even me, I sometimes procrastinate as well, but I've decided that no, I've got to go out there and do it, because if you are more proactive, you know, there's a saying as well, a man creates more opportunities than he finds. You know, a man or a woman creates more opportunities than he finds. And you have to be the right person at the right time, at the right place. But in order to do that, you have to go out and grab the opportunities. They're not going to come to you. And there's always opportunities. You know, if you miss one, another one will come.
Rajesh, the question is, there's certain people who just are not like that. They're not cut that way.
Then to those people, I would say to those people, they need to adapt. It's a different world now. The world is getting faster and faster. We're not even talked about the impact of Brexit, and then there's AI as well, artificial intelligence, with another thing that scares people. So there's things that are coming that are, I mean, AI is already making an impact right now, and that is the one thing before the pandemic, and even Brexit was scaring people the most. So you need to go out there and you need to have what's called a paradigm shift in your thinking, and saying, okay, this is what my situation is. I can't do anything about outside control, about the pandemic and the variant and everything. But what I can do is start looking at opportunities that are coming my way. Because if you wait until furlough ends, 6 months will go down the line, or even 3 months. I don't know when he's going to end it. He may even extend it, but why you want to take that chance? You know, I've always looked at it that you want to be ahead of the curve. You want to be in front. You want to, rather like Lakhi does. Lakhi's always ahead of the curve. He's always looking at trends.
Is that correct? Are you always ahead of the curve?
He's always knows what the
I'm just
trends
about
are.
to just get off the road and jump onto the curb, actually.
He's ahead of the curve as well.
Curb, right? Okay. Yeah, Lakhi. I mean, look, Rajesh has got lots of important things he's saying there. What do you say to this? I mean, for those who are sitting at home, just quite happy to not take control of their life, looking up towards government like a child and saying, oh, please give me, you've taken my job away, you need to get me re-employed. But ultimately, that's not going to happen. You know, there is a paradigm shift. That's what Rajesh says. Is there one, and what advice can you give people who are finding it hard, even to start up a social media network, talking to people on social media?
Yeah.
Picking up the phone and talking to people. What advice you're going to give them? What type of motivation? Because you're like a Mr. Motivator, very positive.
He's the Punjabi motivator.
Pardon?
He's the Punjabi motivator.
He's a Punjabi motivator. That's right, Mr. Motivator. So tell us, what do you say to people who are feeling depressed or down about their circumstances? What is it you can tell them? Have you been through depression or anything like that in the past, and you know how to, clever techniques to get out of it?
Yeah, I think I've been through every type of thing you can think of. But I haven't died yet, so that's probably a good thing.
Please don't say stuff like that, Lakhi.
Still alive. I think the topic of depression and anxiety is a big one, because I think most people I know in this COVID-19 times have suffered from some sort of mental illness, whether it's anxiety, depression. There may be overspill of symptoms from COVID-19 as well. So it's quite a difficult one to get out of. So lot of people may not be thinking about new income opportunities, or they're too caught up in their personal emotions.
Chickens in your bag or something, Lakhi?
So I think trying to get into the flow of actually thinking ahead, planning, be more active in terms of solving the problem of trying to find a income stream is not going to be the first priority. I think a lot of the issues are around mental health at the moment. So one of the things that we're doing at Rescue My Properties, we are going to be in the process of actually working with Deborah, Sophia Magdalene, and Mohsin Ramjani, and providing a lot more support for people that are either going to have access to people who've got those issues, or people can have a check-in with some of our, you can sort of say, well-being team to support them.
Have you got chickens in your bag, Lakhi? Have you got a couple of chickens in your bag? It sounds like there's clucking noise coming from you. Like you've got
everywhere seem to be hammering or something, or
it's
a hive of activity later anyway.
Okay. So maybe you had a couple of chickens in your bag or something, and you had stolen them, and you're sort of like going towards a local restaurant to get them cooked. Lakhi Singh?
Yep, no chickens here.
Okay, so it's just hammering. Yeah, okay, continue.
So I'm just saying that mental health is an issue for a lot of people. And if they can get around a lot of the anguish they're going through, they'll be able to think clearer.
Yeah.
But I think that taking action is probably more important than getting too caught up in their emotions around things.
Taking action, but how can someone take action who's got mental health, Lakhi?
I think keeping busy, taking action is actually a good way of actually keeping yourself mentally healthy, because a lot of it is about connecting with people, talking to people, if they've been in isolation for a long time. And the problems is they're just finding it difficult to engage again, and taking action using the RAC program is probably a good step in one direction to start the communication process rolling again and making themselves active. So I think taking action and actually getting involved in something is good, because it's the sort of being stuck at home type situation is quite difficult, because there's no communication, there's no interaction. So I think it's definitely.
Rajesh, do you feel you've suffered mental illnesses, or do you feel that you suffered something by being in lockdown? Has something happened to you? Have you had any moments? Have you had, voices?
Yeah.
Or?
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, I have had what I call challenges, and I had all sorts of challenges on going. I won't go into too depth, but then I was on a webinar, and I said to them, I said, look, I'm going through all of this, and he said, you're going through an experience. So I didn't know if that was a good experience or a bad experience, but he said that you will go through it. So now I did go through it. I experienced it. I think I agree with Lakhi. You need to take some action, maybe have something to look forward to, because a lot of people, like you said, are stuck at home. They've been at home for a long time, especially people that maybe not working at the moment or on furlough, and they have all this time on their hands. And I know people look forward to one day when they'll have more time. So maybe this is time to reflect and decide, maybe go in a different direction, whether that's your career, job, starting a business, or even just, writing a book, doing a podcast. There are loads of opportunities. And also I agree with Lakhi that you need to connect with people, because as human beings, we're social animals. Staying in isolation for a long time doesn't bode well for not only our physical health but our mental health. We're we are social animals. We're in the difference between us and the rest of the animal kingdom is one, we've been given the gift of reason and a brain that is I wouldn't say far superior, but we've created so many different things in life. You know, everything became with a thought and it's become created. You know, even this Zoom, laptops, everything, you know, they've been created from our imagination. So I think
could you imagine a monkey creating a laptop, Lucky? An orangutan, or maybe?
Yeah, maybe a dolphin.
Dolphin, yeah.
Dolphins are
Yeah, I mean,
highly
okay.
intelligent creatures.
Yeah, so do you reckon they could create a laptop underwater, Lakhi Singh? There's always a what? Well, he's frozen. Let's forget about him. He's no good in the dolphin world. Right, continue, Rajesh. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, you know, I agree with what Lucky said and what you said, that, you know, people need to have something to maybe look forward to and take action.
The way I'm looking at it, I'm just thinking, I mean, it's just as a thought, how quickly was the whole world shut down? And if you really look at it, without any true, clear, unambiguous information, I mean, it was done like yesterday, it was done right now, lockdown, virus, this, that, the other. We're going to shut the world down. Everything's going to shut down, airports, everything. And yet you've had other viruses like Ebola and others, we've had them. And that type of action was never taken.
It is a good question, actually.
But why did it happen so quickly? And why was it so quick to be taken up with the corporate world, the business? Why did the business world just say, right, London stock market shut down, New York Stock Exchange shut down? You know, why did it just happen? And there wasn't any room for thought, any room for reasoning.
Well, it's a really loaded question, but one of my answers is that I think in the UK last year, I think we shut down too late. Okay, because when it spread to Italy and Germany, right, the government was focused on obviously our illustrious Prime Minister Boris Johnson had just won the election. It's great, but it was the reason was because obviously the country was focused on the result of the Brexit result back in 2016. And then obviously January came along and February, and then it started spreading over here. And as you're well aware, the Dark Prince himself, Dominic Cummings, came back and said, advised the PM that, you know, it's very important that we shut down. But obviously there were meant to be the Cobra meetings, which is the highest level meetings in the cabinet. They're usually reserved for terrorist attacks. But in this case, it was a similar sort of thing. But you have a good point. Why was everything shut down, particularly for this virus, when you've had, I mean, as scary as coronavirus is, I've read about Ebola, and that is one of the most scariest things I've ever read about. And you know, it's just because it's got a 99.9% mortality rate.
See, the way I'm looking at it is, why are they still investigating where the source was then? If there was
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It just seems that the virus has always been one step ahead of us, but it was created somewhere by someone or something, and they're still investigating it. Have you noticed that China's suddenly gone all quiet? And I don't know whether that's if that's. I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory, but it just seems very strange that China's gone all quiet and the rest of the world is experiencing this pandemic at extreme levels. You know, there always seems to be another mutation coming along. And yes, the one thing I will applaud is that the vaccine rollout in this country has been quite efficient. You know, I mean, I think over half the population have got the vaccines done. But now they're saying that, you know, this new variant that's mutating at a faster rate. I mean, there'll be another variant coming along soon, and then there'll be another third lockdown. So I just don't understand that the corridors of power or the powers that be cannot get a handle on this. It's like you said. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But you're absolutely right. I mean, why? Because there's also people that refuse to take their vaccine as well. There's a lot of people in this country, in America, around the world, will refuse to take the vaccine. They say, I'm not taking a vaccine. I'm not having something injected in my body that I don't know what exactly it contains. You know,
well, remember, it's not a vaccine. Okay, first and foremost, you must be clear, and it's not a hidden secret that we can't. It's not a vaccine. It is an mRNA, which is like a induced. It's the way it works is, just for the sake of a bit of knowledge, is it's like an induced virus. So what they're saying is they inject you with a copy of a virus, so it reacts or behaves like a virus, and the purpose of it is to attack your organs in the body, so the organs become immune to it, so that their own immune system has fortified itself.
Like a defense.
So it's not really a vaccine. It's really a created virus to generate those immune hormones in your body to protect you from the virus. So
that makes sense, Steve. You know, I like I said, it does make sense, and I think it creates. Is it the antibodies against the?
That's right. Yeah. So it's actually it's like prepping your body up to create the right antibodies to protect you. But it's not a vaccine. And the fact that they've made it, no, it's not a vaccine. If they're calling it a vaccine, it's wrongly labeled. But it is an mRNA, which is, an induced. So let's suppose it's like a synthetically created virus. That's right.
Okay. I think the government should get in contact with you, VJ, and you should correct them on what they should call it.
Everyone's following. No, but it's out there. It's not a hidden secret.
Yeah. No, I know.
Certain people have actually called it what it is. It's an mRNA injection. And some of them have called it an mRNA or SNA vaccine, something like that. They're calling it what it is, but it's only that this just shows the ignorance of the world. I mean, how used to are we by checking things? We don't.
We're
not used to it anymore.
I mean, I've learned something today because it's stuck in my head, vaccine. But like you said, it's mRNA, so that's what I'll call it. But it is. And
you'll find the sources for that. They will tell you in different places. It says it's an mRNA or mRNA or whatever they call it. It's been created to fight the virus, but it's not really a vaccine fight. It's more of a reinforce your body fight. So talking of vaccines, Lakhi, last few words.
Like your T-shirt.
On the RAC. That's the antidote to being depressed, sitting at home, and not having a job.
He's got the guns.
Yeah.
He's got the guns.
Lakhi Singh.
Okay. So I think in summary, we've got a COVID-19 situation going out, and it could actually be, with all the different strains coming out, there's another strain from another country now. I'm trying to stay away from the strain variants from various countries, about 10 different strains from different places, and it technically can mutate even further. So you can probably even call it
Hounslow strain.
Hounslow strain or Southampton strain or whatever. So I think people are just going to be thinking ahead and not getting caught up with all the hype around what's happening. They've got to be proactive within themselves. So number one, look after your mental well-being, your physical health, your spiritual health. From there, becoming an associate with the company costs nothing. That's right, costs nothing, zero cost, because we're just putting this offer out during the time of COVID-19. The costs will go back up to £2,000 a year, which is the basic membership. So if anybody keen on taking action, trying to escape the hype and live in the real world, then we're here to assist. So if you want to join, become a member, talk to us. We're going to be doing a full-fledged launch in the next few weeks. So you go to www.rescuemyproperties.co.uk or DM us directly on this group, on the Alternative Property Business Solutions community, and we'll get you set up with everything, and you'll be ready to go within no time.
Excelente. Right. Sounds like a bit like the rising of the machines and the Terminator and the Turbinator in Lucky's case. Rising of the machines. He has come to save us, which is roughly what Lucky normally does, rescues people, rescues properties. And about yourself, Rajesh, last few words before we close off.
I echo exactly what Lucky said. Firstly, take care of your health, both your physical, your mental health. Don't be in isolation. Connect with people. Connect with me if you want. Connect with Lucky. Connect with VJ. The opportunity, what Lucky says, is as far as I'm concerned, is a no-brainer. And I echoed that last week when we were on the. I mean, it's zero cost now. Because people think it's zero cost, they won't value it. But the amount of information you'll get, and you never know, if you try it and do it, you'll earn money, you'll learn new skills, you'll connect with people. So it's a no-brainer, and I'm not
Excellent.
talking about
At least it keeps you busy. It's a business sitting at home. That's really what it is.
Yeah,
how many minutes have we got
it's ideal. It's flexible. Laptop, internet connection, mobile phone, you're on your way, literally. Right. Social media.
So before we continue, we say a big shout out to Mandy, and we've got Sat Gill.
Good morning, Mandy.
Big shout out to both watching us on YouTube.
Satwinder.
Satwinder. Right, Lakhi Singh, last words then, please. These are your last words.
Last words.
You've got a minute.
When you say it like that, I think you should say your last words for this StreamYard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
These are your the last few words for today's stream.
Later. Okay. Last word. Love and peace are the only way.
Oh, I like that.
Excellent. See? Very extremely make you feel. I just say keep happy. Keep happy and try and be good. Try and be good. Just be happy. Be happy that you're alive, and while you're alive, and be happy. Try and spread the love. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Speak to you next week. Thanks a lot, Rajesh.
Thank you for having me, friend. Bye.